In this video, I'll be talking about the 5 top reasons why you should not move to Canada. So let's go. Reason number 1, if you're not willing to start over, and by start over I mean starting from scratch. You know what I mean? So if you have a good job back home, you're a doctor, you're a lawyer, and you come here, you're most likely gonna drive a taxi for a while, because a law degree will not be able to be applicable here in Canadian marketplace. So that's going to be extremely hard. So if you're a doctor or you're in politics, you're a minister, and you're planning to come to Canada, probably you shouldn't, because you will not like it. I honestly feel like if you can put in work and you're willing to do some research, and find out what certification do you need to get back in your industry, or if you can't even go back to your industry, what will be some of the alternative or the options you have to be able to kind of have the same job, or maybe even have a better way of earning more income here in Canada. Again, if you're not willing to start over from scratch, probably you're better off being home, being in your country, rather than coming here and starting from scratch. Point number 2. So if you're not willing to upgrade your skills, or if you're not a continuous learner, this can be a very big learning curve for you when you get here in Canada, because in most cases, your degree back home where you come from may not be recognized here. So, when they look at university and maybe you studied from Nigeria or from India or from, I don't know, if you're not willing to somehow find the certifications or organization just within your community that offer bridging program that you can utilize to be able to upgrade your skills, then Canada is not the right place for you, because most migrants who succeed in Canada, they are continuous learners. They are very flexible. They are willing to learn new skill. So you have to be able to be adaptable if there's a skill that needed. Let's say you did networking back home and you realize that maybe networking there's not much jobs networking, and maybe being a programmer, there's more work. So find a skill that you can transfer from networking to programming. So take some courses, then eventually you can become a programmer. Point number 3, so if you cannot stand the cold, probably Canada is not the right place for you, because especially where I live here in Edmonton, that's Alberta, it is extremely cold. Sometimes it's minus 40, it's minus 45 degrees, so that's extremely cold. So if you're from warm weather like Africa and some part of Asia, Middle East, where it's extremely hot in those places, and then you come to Canada where it's extremely cold, so that can be a very big culture shock. Again, if you're not flexible and being adaptable to the Canadian weather, I've met many migrants who go back to Africa because the weather is cold. Some people go back to Jamaica because they cannot stand the cold. But Canada is not cold throughout the year. Here we get really good summer, like extremely warm, which is really good. And places like Vancouver, they can be warm even when it's cold here in Alberta. They can be somehow warm. They don't get much of a snow. But again, if you feel like you cannot stand the cold, Canada is not a good place for you to move. Point number 4, if you get homesick fast. Now that is a huge problem, because mostly when you move here, at least I would say about 70% they don't move here with their family. So you move here just yourself, or maybe with your partner, but most likely yourself, where you have your kids in Africa, you have your parents, your sister, your siblings. So if you feel like you always be sick, spend thousands of dollars calling back home and, whining and complaining, so probably Canada is not the right place for you, because you're most likely going to be here alone for a while, because even sponsoring your family, like sponsoring your partner, your parents, or your kids to come and join you in Canada, it's a process and it takes time. It can take up to 4 or 5 years. Some people even take up to 8 years, to have their family with them here in Canada. Though the process kind of changing and things become a little bit faster than the past. But again, if you feel like you always be whining and complaining, probably Canada is not the right place for you because you're most likely going to be here alone for quite some time before you're able to afford to sponsor your family to join you here in Canada. And lastly, point number 5. If the idea of multiculturalism doesn't sound fun to you, definitely Canada is not the right place for you. You have to be open-minded here. There's so many people from different culture, different food, different music, you know, but if you feel like you want to be within your own culture, then you may find it extremely hard to integrate into the Canadian workplace. Just even the culture itself, because you have to just be open-minded, you know. You will be working people from, I don't know, from Philippines and people from Jamaica, people from US, people from Europe, Canadians themselves, the indigenous community. So you have to be able to understand different cultures, you know, to be able to feel ease, you know, feel happy. Now, some of us come from countries and cultures where the idea of gay marriage is not welcome, but here in Canada, it is extremely welcome, you know what I mean? So you have to be open-minded. You have to know what other people think of different things. And instead of talking, I feel like you have to listen, because if you're new here in Canada, the best thing you can do is just listen, you know. By listening means you understand and think and be able to live in the way that will help you and the rest of your neighbor or people you live with feel comfortable in the same environment. So if you're moving to Canada, I strongly encourage you to be open-minded, because this country has so much offer than you being worried about certain things. So I will encourage you to be more liberal, you know, be open-minded, you know, listen, and yeah, welcome to Canada. All right, that's it for this video. Make sure you subscribe to my channel, and thank you so much for watching my videos. I really appreciate it. Until next time, I'll see you later, my friend. Peace.